Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I'm going to be briefing on a situation we had in Pensacola, Florida. This situation happened 2016 in March. We had a Marine that was arrested by local authorities in Pensacola, Florida. This Marine decided he wanted to go on a joyride in a golf cart. So he was arrested for grand theft auto, DUI, and underage drinking. So our next steps is trying to figure out what we're going to do with this Marine. How do we get this Marine recovered? And then my questions that I was thinking in my head, how in the world did this Marine get in this situation? Of course, I was young before I know how he got in this situation. I've been there before. Not arrested though. So, again, how did he get in this situation, and how do we get him back on the right track to being a good Marine? Some of the same questions we ask as teachers every day in the classroom. How did this student end up in this situation? How do we get this student back on the right track to succeed in his life and his career? Especially in his life, right? So, you already heard Marine, right? So I'm a 30-year Marine, retired after 30 years. I've had several duties that I did while I was in the Marine Corps after I graduated boot camp in Parris Island, South Carolina. I went to Defense Language Institute. I'm an Arabic linguist. Marhaban, kayfa halak, so I can speak Arabic. I was also an intel analyst, signals intelligence. So all your cell phones out there, I can pinpoint your location and I can drop a bomb on you in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to do that. At least not tonight. So after that, I became an operations chief, and then I became a senior enlisted and a commanding officer. When I say commanding officer, I was still an E9 Master Gunnery Sergeant. But I earned that title because I was the leader of a school down in Pensacola. Again, that leads me to my duty stations. So I've been all around this world. I've been at Camp Lejeune. I've been at Camp Pendleton. I've been up at Fort Meade, Maryland. I've also been down at Fort Gordon, Georgia, working for the National Security Agency, working for DIA. But one of my most memorable was working in Okinawa, Japan. I've also been in combat tours, Iraq, Afghanistan, Bosnia, Somalia. I don't know how my wife did that, but she did. But Okinawa, Japan, there was a situation. I don't know if y'all heard about the earthquake that just happened in Japan. Again, almost 11 years to the date, right? So I was in Okinawa, Japan, and we had this thing called Operation Tomodachi. So we went up there to provide humanitarian relief to the Japanese. So in signals intelligence, we can play a part in human, in some of these human disasters and, relief operations. But what I want to get to, I'll get to that later, and I'll bring it around back, but we'll get back to that story here in a minute. So, again, all these duty stations and everywhere I've been stationed after 30 years career, nothing was tougher ever in the Marine Corps than when I transitioned out of the Marine Corps and I became a teacher. I'm telling you, this is the toughest job. Respect. I'll keep that term going on tonight. I'm telling you, respect to all you teachers out there in the crowd. It's a very, very difficult profession, and I'm still sticking with it because that's what Marines do. So, how did I become a teacher? So, there's me. I was 7th grade, Southwest Junior High. I don't know, some of y'all might know that in Gastonia, North Carolina. So, that's where I grew up. So, I had a little spark of a dream to become a teacher. But it came from a teacher. A teacher did this for me. I had, let's say, a life-changing moment in my life. My mother died when I was 13 years old. She was my science teacher, 7th grade at Southwest. She took me under my arm, and every day I showed up to school, she asked me how I was, how I was feeling, and she was the only one that got me back on track to helping me out in school when I really needed someone, especially at that moment. So I'm here, standing here today as a teacher because of her. Yes, she bought me that annual that you see right there, and she actually wrote in it, and she used to call me Kenny. So she's not alive today, but I can tell you right now, she is my dream. She's the reason I'm here. So, again, transition. There's two things in the Marine Corps: troop welfare and mission accomplishment. Both of them are there. 30 years of troop welfare and mission accomplishment. So how did I do troop welfare in the Marine Corps? Troop welfare is taking care of my Marines and getting to know them. So while I was getting to know my Marines, kind of like Miss Peggy Harmon did for me as a student, she got to know me and what was my problems and issues and got me back on track. That's kind of what we were doing in the Marine Corps. We're trying to take Marines, make them better, get them back on track so they can function as a unit in the Marine Corps, and then send them back out in society so that they can become, grown adults and can, live their lives and actually benefit the community. So as a leader in the Marine Corps up at Fort Meade, Maryland, we used to have this thing that was called, fundraising activities. Some of these fundraising activities included going to the Baltimore Orioles and also the Baltimore Ravens and working concession stands. We raised funds for our Marine Corps Ball and for some of the children's youth. All About the Kids is one of the other organizations I work with to help them out. And it worked out great. I got to know my Marines got to know me outside of the workspace, rubbed elbows, got to see their concerns, and it actually helped out because I had one of my fellow troops, and this was just one out of many, who said, hey, I can't feed my family. Just like teachers, Marines don't get paid a lot either. So there's this organization that was called WIC, and I knew about it. So I got my Marine linked up with WIC, and he was able to get milk, cheese, bread for his baby and his family. So I definitely helped out there. And that's what we do on a daily basis as teachers, right? Take care of our students. Take care of our students. So again, now, while I'm at Coolwood STEM Academy, that's what I do. I go out and I volunteer as a baseball coach, football coach, and a basketball coach so far. Also assisted in robotics. So I rub elbows with my students, and I get to know them while they're out there playing. And guess what? Students let down their guard whenever they're out there playing with you. Throwing the ball, playing catch. Hey, Mr. Loman, I didn't know you could throw a football, especially how old you are. And I'm like, yeah, I can still throw a football. I can still throw a baseball. So, and my dad taught me that, so thank you, Dad. And again, getting to know your students. And that helps out tremendously when we go back to the classroom, because guess what? Hey, Mr. Loman, I'm struggling with this math. So I take them back into the classroom and I'm like, yeah, what kind of support can I get you? Well, I got tons of support at Coolwood. I got my ES support, my EL support. I also have my math lead, Miss Bednar. I also have my mentor, Mr. L. And they're all there to support me and help me out every single day. I am not alone in the classroom. You should never feel that you're alone, because we're a team. We are a team. Getting to my other point, team, mission accomplishment. In the Marine Corps, we couldn't do anything in the Marine Corps all by ourselves. We had to have a team. Going back to Operation Tamadachi in Japan, there was a little city called Sendai over there. So there, they had a whole bunch of, you had the tsunami and it wiped out a lot of the villages and cities there. Well, signals intelligence came in and we needed some people to track and find, because the Japanese, they care about burying their loved ones. They care about it a lot. So we're able to use signals intelligence, tracking down their cell phones, buried under all that massive mud and landslides and everything else. Phones are still on, and we were able to track some bodies down, pinpoint them, and recover them. But we also had to have help from logistics, from the air, from the ground, troops going in. And we also had to get water and supply in there too. So again, the teamwork helped that situation in Operation Tomodachi. I could tell you some other war stories, but we can't be here all night long. Again, team, going back to Coolwood, STEM Academy. I couldn't do it without a Mr. Mickle, who's my BMT. And, basically he's my management team there whenever some kid behaves bad in the classroom, and he helps pull the kids out. He was also the head basketball coach, so I looked at him and I gleaned at him, and I was learning some information from him, how to coach, how to be a better teacher, how to be a better mentor to these kids. I also had Miss Bednar, who's my team lead. She's the one that always got our lesson plans correct and up to date and on time. So every Saturday and Sunday, I'm sitting there reviewing the lesson plans for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thank you, Miss Bednar. Mr. L, again, if I had any questions, he was always right there to mentor me and say, hey, this is how you should do it in the classroom. So again, teamwork. Couldn't do it without Dr. Moss, who's always there as our principal, and you can't do it without administration, trust me. I couldn't handle all those phone calls from all those parents. Even though I have to make at least about 10 to 15 a week for kids that don't want to do their homework. So, again, this is my, kind of like pathway to becoming a teacher. It was a long road, kind of hard too. I'm telling you, it's not easy becoming a teacher. There's a lot of legalities and a lot of things that you have to go through. Security clearances. I thought National Security Agency was tough. But trying to get a background check around here is difficult. It's hard. But again, CMS teaching residency, they were like my boot camp for teaching. So, they were awesome. They helped me out with my classroom management, with delivering the lesson plans, with how to go around and get to know your students also in the classroom, how to approach them, gently sometimes, sternly at other times, right? It just depends on your student. And how do you get to know them? Outside of the classroom, right? Sometimes. Call their parents. Oh, that's another good thing. If you're in sports and sports activities, you get to meet the parents because they got to pick up their kids. So, and you can have a face-to-face, which is kind of difficult. So again, I want to thank several people there on here, CMS Teaching Residency, for getting me to where I am right now, my boot camp. I also like to thank all the staff at at Coolwood STEM Academy, and I also like to thank the staff here for getting me up here on stage. Should have said no, right? I'm just kidding. No, but I want to leave it on one solemn note right here. Oh, again, I couldn't do it without my family too. That's why my picture of my family's there. One last thing. The reason I'm here is because of this lady right here, Miss Peggy Harmon. Each and every one of you that's a teacher out there, be that Miss Peggy Harmon for your students. Trust me, there's at least one that's going to listen to you, and you're going to be the reason that they reach their dreams. Thank you.